We found the child, and the exhilaration you get when you actually save someone is remarkable, and it left an impression on my life to like, this is really cool, helping people. So that's where my life has really moved forward with, and I haven't regretted it at all. I get a huge excitement out of it every day.
Hi, my name is Zenka. I'm founder of LightNet, and my purpose is to expand what we believe is possible. I'm here today with Scott Jablow, who is the mayor of Sedona, Arizona. And he had a long career in law enforcement in New Jersey and in New York, working in the Port Authority, our airports, working on criminal investigations. He worked long hours and it was very stressful. And he still works long hours, but I think he's really enjoyed this phase of his life. Over 14 years ago, he came to Sedona and just got involved. He started on the fire district board, the zoning commission board, the personnel board. He became involved. He rose to be vice mayor, and now he's mayor of Sedona. And he's got a great heart, and he is really working with all different walks of life, from the citizens to the different boards to moving everything forward as a team. So welcome, Scott Jablow.
My purpose in life has always been to help people. So back in New York on Long Island, I was a police officer at Kennedy Airport for 31 years. And in 2010, I retired, moved to Sedona, and now here it is 14 years later, and I'm the mayor of Sedona. Well, I discovered my purpose years ago when I was a teenager. I was with a group of friends in the middle of a huge snowstorm, and one of our neighbors was missing her child. And looked all around nearby, and it was really before kidnappings were a big thing and all that kind of stuff. But all of my friends worked together with the police department to just walk the neighborhood to help find this child. I mean, what did we know? We were just kids, right? But we wanted to have a purpose, and we wanted to be helping people. So we actually found the child in a parking lot where somebody had removed a manhole cover. And I don't even remember, all these years later, where that cover was, whether it was off to the side. I actually took it. But the child was in the manhole, covered with snow. And just walking through a parking lot, we heard calling out for help. And we found the child. And the exhilaration you get when you actually save someone is remarkable. And it left an impression on my life to like, this is really cool, helping people. So that's where my life has really moved forward with. And I haven't regretted it at all. I get a huge excitement out of it every day. I never even thought of that whole story until I got your list of questions. I said, wait a minute, how can I answer this? And it all came back. I mean, I was 15, 16 years old, and here I am, 68 years old. Hadn't ever thought of that, but your questions really brought back some good memories for me. Well, there were a lot of things that made it difficult to reach my goal of helping people. And back in 1978, 79, I had applied to different police departments. I didn't know anything. I mean, I went to college for law enforcement, so I had that college degree, but they don't teach you how hard it is to get in that field. Now it's a little bit easier because there's a big demand for it. But back then, it was very competitive. So I took many different tests, and then finally I took the test for my department, and it was not easy at all. And then, of course, there's a physical agility, and then the psychological. They make it tough for you, and rightfully so. But I really excelled and did well, and I passed through the academy. And that was, many months of training, and but it was so well worth it. I still remember my first day on the job of actually being out in the public, and you get that rush of I'm taking my life's calling and moving forward. So the idea of mayor didn't come for many years. It didn't come until maybe 4 years ago. But I arrived here in Sedona in 2010. My wife and we purchased a house in 2006 and 7, right on the crest of the changing of the years. And I never thought about it. I mean, my job as a police officer was extremely stressful because over 31 years, where I had gotten to in my career was very stressful. And I was going every day until the day I retired at 90 miles an hour. So, and that was my own doing because I just loved the job. I didn't really want to retire because I just love doing what I was doing. But it was time to retire, and I came here and I said, now what do I do? So I got involved in the Sedona Fire District Governing Board, and I ran for that. That was a little bit simpler, figuring, well, I have, it's only one day a month, and then you have to read a lot, but you could do that at your own leisure. And I worked into it. Then a few years later, I ran for the city council. That was a challenge, but not as much as it was to be mayor. But I never even looked or aspired to be mayor. I just wanted to give back in my way, try to help in some way. And you've heard the saying, you want to leave someplace better than when you found it. And the more I did on the city council, the more I was able to do that. And it's, the city council is unique. People think, well, even as the mayor, well, you're going to do this and you're going to do that. It doesn't work that way. It's a body of 7. Actually, it has to be a body of 4. It's, the quorum. It has to be, the majority of the people, on the council. So it's a team effort. And sometimes you have a team that works well together, sometimes you don't. It's sometimes better not to, because you want different ideas, different challenges, and that makes the win that much better. So, but I never thought about being mayor. And then about, like I said, 3-4 years ago, it was a time then, and I'm stuttering, I'm sorry, but it just needed to be. And I saw my calling. And I have the opportunity, and most people don't see behind the scenes, but we have an amazing staff here at City Hall that work, most of them work almost 2 jobs because everybody backfills each other. And I want to be a part of the win. I want to be a part of a success. I want to leave Sedona better than when I arrived here in 2010. So somebody suggested run for mayor. And I did, and now I'm just starting into my second term or second election, and I'm really excited. The passion hasn't dwindled at all. As a matter of fact, it's getting better and more powerful with me. So the people around me and how they're affected by my life and moving forward, I've always had support from my family. I mean, being a police officer, I didn't have the luxury of staying home in the middle of a blizzard. I had to go to work because in my job, I was a police officer at Kennedy Airport back in New York. Somebody could not go home until I arrived there. So it's a continuous staffing of people. So you had to get to work. I had to leave my family. And my oldest son, he was just waiting to move that snowblower and to work the lawnmower and to do those things and fill in for me. And he got the charge out of doing that kind of stuff. And, it just works. It's a whirlwind. The 30 years I had was just a whirlwind of time. As long as you're having a good time. And it wasn't always good times. There was a lot of bad times. But it's all part of the job. So now, I don't know if you know or not, but I was part of 9/11. And I wasn't actually there, but my department was the owner of the World Trade Center. And working at Kennedy Airport, it all everybody worked together. So I only spent very little time at the World Trade Center, but the younger people, because now I was 20 years on the job then, so the younger, more stronger, active people were able to go to the Trade Center. But the psychological effects of that were tremendous. So for 18 months, nobody had even one day off at all, except if you had to go to a doctor or something like that, and you had to show that note. Everybody had to work, and there were no exceptions. So the psychological aspects of being a police officer, plus, while my job wasn't the conventional police officer in the neighborhood, walking a beat in communities, you're still, as a police officer in New York at Kennedy Airport, you're working at the gateway to the United States, where people from around the world come to Kennedy Airport. So you have to have the mindset of being able to work with all nationalities, all different beliefs, and you just have to be deferential to the concerns of the people who sometimes they come into an airport for the first time in their lives. And you have to be able to work with people. And I've learned to do that. Even coming here, there's people with different mindsets, and I try to work with people. I found it works well. I learn a lot, and I take away a lot each day. So that has really, I went into the police academy, I was 24 years old. So I retired at 54. And it was a true learning experience. It was very tiring, to say the least, but it was exhilarating at the same time. Well, it's the charge I get out of doing what I do and living my life. It's different each day. I feel I have to accomplish something every day, whether I'm truly accomplishing something exhilarating or just accomplishing just a plus in the day. It doesn't always work out that way, but it could be a challenge. Like I said, as a police officer, it doesn't always work that way, but every once in a while you get that win. As a police officer, and I focused on fatal accidents the last 10 years of my career. I was an investigator for fatal accidents. And if I was able to solve a case on how an accident happened and help a family that's grieving through a loved one who's lost, I could find out how it happened. And their life is now enriched to some degree. Yes, it's still a loss, but now they have the answers to the questions. I still did something good for somebody. Everything I do, even as a patrol officer, I lost track of how many times I was part of a team that saved lives in either cardiac or car accidents. It doesn't happen every day. It may happen twice a year. But, I was part of that, saving a life. And when you see that, you see it on television all the time where they're doing CPR and all of a sudden the body stands up. It doesn't happen that way. But when you revive a body, and I think last I counted it was like 5 different people over 31 years. That's how rare it is. 5 people, and I don't know whatever happened to them. I don't know if they survived past that day, but they survived, even for one more day. And I had received a phone call from somebody once, years ago. This is bringing back such good memories, where somebody called me and said, "Thank you for helping to revive my father. He got to spend one more week with us until he finally passed." Again, it's a win. It's that charge. It takes you for those bad times. It helps carry you through those bad times. So, it is what it is, as they say. You take the little of good and it helps accomplish the bad. So I don't know how people would find this spark in their lives to move forward so they know, even as a younger age, where they want to accomplish. But the best advice I can give to those people who are looking for that is open their mind, but don't close to little things. But, I found here in Sedona, there's a lot of people who have jobs, and there aren't a lot of careers being offered. But people should be looking not for jobs. They need to aspire to a career. And everybody focuses on college, and college is a wonderful institution. It truly, truly is. If it was for colleges, sorry about that. If it wasn't for colleges, we wouldn't have some of the amazing people in our lives, right? But we need a plumber. We need an electrician. We need a firefighter. We need police officers, because they touch people in their own way. And it's not about, in a lawyer, you win the case. You sue somebody or you help somebody. It's not the same as a firefighter. You save lives. A plumber or electrician, they help people who need help in an instant in their homes. And people forget that, but that's a career. And that's something that, in their way, yes, they're making a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. But I know plumbers and electricians, and they say, I went to someone's house today and they had no power. And they didn't know what to do, and I was actually fair with my price, and I helped this single mother with 3 kids, and I felt good today. So no matter what you look at, don't go for the job. Jobs are fine, okay, to an extent, but go for the career. No matter what it is you're looking for, go for a career, and hopefully if you find the right career, those people will feel good inside. Well, what inspired me to do this in my life, especially with law enforcement, it was just a coincidence. In my neighborhood, that was the day when police officers would drive through a neighborhood and you get to be friends with them. And I remember two different officers that would patrol in the neighborhood. And it was a very residential town. It wasn't where, you never saw a cop, but you didn't see one often. But I was always befriended by different cops. And maybe it's my personality. Some people say I'm very outgoing. But they would tell me of their, what they did. And, we'd only spend maybe 20 minutes talking while they're patrolling the neighborhood. And then as I just moved forward in life, everything was directed toward law enforcement. And my parents were very supportive. They said, whatever you want to do, just aspire to be something that's good and something that's giving. And they were both working people. They weren't in law enforcement. They weren't in politics. They were, just hard-working people. And they did have an impact on me because I saw how hard they worked. And back in the 50s and 60s, life wasn't as easy. Things were very expensive. My father didn't have a great job, okay? But I saw how hard he would work. He would leave 5 o'clock in the morning and come home 6 o'clock at night. After working, he owned several different restaurants at the time. And my mom worked in a dress shop. She was a saleswoman in a dress shop. And she would work long hours. And back then, kids would go to school on their own. You didn't have to worry about someone grabbing your kid. And I would walk to public school. But I saw that hard work. I remember something that my mother did. And she was not an outgoing person. She was more of an introvert. But she had a problem where she had purchased a desk chair. And it needed to be repaired, so she sent it back. And then you didn't have Amazon, you didn't have any, she had to put it in the car, take it to the shop to get the desk chair fixed. And she never got the chair back. She didn't get the chair back in a timely fashion. And she went and inquired why, and that business had gone bankrupt. And they shut the doors. And she fought for the stupid desk chair. It was a nice desk, it was leather, but it was just a chair. But my mother fought and got the chair back. And she says, this was just a repair. It's not something that I was going to purchase. I have a receipt for it. And she fought and she fought and she fought. And I was a little kid, maybe 8 or 9. And I watched her fight. And I do that now. As a cop, you have to fight to get where you want. It's not easy. Not a single day is easy. They can be fun, but they're not easy. But you have to fight to get where you want. To be, in city government, I'm fighting for the people. I'm listening to people, listening to the residents. And when there's a need, I'll fight. We change laws. We have state laws that affect our residents very badly. And we fight. I spend a lot of time down at the state capitol fighting. I don't give up. So that's how that's another way my family has supported me to get where I am today. Never surrender, never give up. You just can't. So not everybody finds their purpose and passion in their life because of their personality. Some people have that dream to aspire to, but maybe they don't have the tools in which to do it. Maybe it's their environment where they live. I want to be a rocket scientist, but their parents didn't help prepare them for that education. You're talking about a huge education. Maybe the parents couldn't afford it. Maybe the child or the person didn't have the educational skills, because not everybody can get to that level in their life. But there might be something holding them back. But if it's not a college education to be a rocket scientist, it's a trade. There's always some way to look, and people have to open their mind to, if it's not one thing. I know a close family friend of my wife's that was going to be a musician. And something happened and she couldn't do the job. She hurt herself and she could no longer work that musical instrument. But she aspired to. She went to school for it. She had a scholarship for it. And she couldn't do it anymore. And sometimes things come in the way. That's just static. And sometimes life takes a different course, and you have to just go with the direction you're going. But don't close your eyes. Just keep going. And hopefully, not everybody has that mindset to do good and to aspire to do good. Some people just want to float. Some people want to just take. I'm not a taker. The many people I've encountered over my life, they take. That's their mentality. That's the way they are. They won't change. But there's a lot of people who want to give. And that's the side of the lifespan that I'm at. You know, that corny saying, there's, no I in teams, right? And it's not. I mean, everything I do things on my own. I'm very self-sufficient. But if you want to get the job done right, you have to work with other people. I mean, we have an amazing, like I said before, amazing staff here. But they're the specialists in what they do. I'm just guiding through the process to get the end result of an accomplishment for somebody. But I know what buttons to push and, which direction to go so that we can get the answers that somebody might need. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But it helps to have someone with the knowledge to navigate to get the best results.